Morning, armor down. How's it going? How'd you sleep? Hope you slept well. We are in our fourth day of what is armor down. One day, I described armor down as a noun and a verb, or a company that has interests in the self-care, meditative, mindful, yogic, cannabis, self-care, non-pharmaceutical space. On Tuesday, I described who Armor Down is for. It's for kind of warriors and servant leaders in particular. It's accessible to everyone, but in particular, warrior and servant leaders, largely because those are the two kind of identities in our culture that are trained, expected to. Their profession is putting the mission first. So Armor Down is particularly for them because it's a way for them to engage in self-care while still maintaining mission readiness. And then yesterday, what did I talk about for yesterday? Yesterday, I can't remember yesterday. But today I want to talk about Armor Down as a way to nurture the nervous system. So if you think about your nervous system, you have to think about it in the context of it's an intelligent thing. So it's called the autonomic nervous system. I've heard it called ANS. It's just fast, but the ANS, the autonomic nervous system, is a system of neurons. Okay, so neurons take up and pass along information. It's connected to your brain. Your brain is kind of the driver of your autonomic nervous system. It moves throughout your body. It's connected everywhere. It receives information. It gives information. And if you're thinking about it in terms of your some kind of military thing, it's a headquarters and your frontline company and everybody in between. I mean, it's the communication system. So that's its job. So when I think about how my autonomic nervous system works in the actual the process, I think about it as electricity. So think about electricity moving through your body along your autonomic nervous system. Now, it has evolved, arguably, since the dawn of the planet. So 13.5 billion years it's been evolving. And so what does that mean? Well, it's been evolving and growing and regenerating the means of regenerating itself for 13.5 billion years. So when I say it's smart, I'm not talking like artificial intelligence smart. I'm talking like smart like the planet smart, or like smart. It's a thing that has incredible skill and real deep understanding about how to keep human beings alive through almost everything. I mean, how to keep human beings alive enough to keep the species going. It's that smart. It adapts as you get older. So, for example, let me break down the other pieces. So, if you think about it like electricity, and its job is to kind of protect you, but its job is also to kind of help you enjoy life too. So, its core function is protection and passing itself on, but it's also there to kind of help you enjoy life. So there's two sides of the autonomic nervous system. It's called the sympathetic side and the parasympathetic side. The sympathetic side is, you can think of as the activator, right? It's the activates you against threat, right? So something's threatening you, the autonomic nervous system kicks into the sympathetic side of its processes, and all these things adapt and change inside your body to support your ability to protect yourself. The other side of it is called the parasympathetic side, and when it's really triggered, it's all about really creating a way or a space for you to enjoy and all the benefits of safety. Now, those are the two kind of left-right boundaries. Inside of those boundaries are all kinds of other things. I mean, all kinds of things. And again, it adapts over time, so it's not a stagnant thing. It's a learning, regenerative thing. So, for example, when you're a child, your autonomic nervous system has all the same parts as it has when it's an adult, same functions, same capabilities as an adult, but it does things a little bit different. So like when a kid is activated, a fear signal is activated. When the kid goes into the sympathetic side of the nervous system, the child goes into a pursue mode. So meaning it looks for its parents and it runs after the parent. So think about that. When you're adult, it may go into fight mode, right? Or flee mode. But as a kid, it goes into pursue mode. Think of how much sense that makes. As a kid, chances of you fighting off of an attacker are pretty small. So instead, your mode that the autonomic nervous system is already kind of organized to do gives you the ability to flee to your parent or to the adult or to the safety figure. That's really smart. Like, it's not just some dumb system. It's like, it's on. It's not that at all. It's really, really a smart system. So when you're an adult, fight or flee, right? Well, that makes a lot of sense. But this is all just to show you that this is a really smart thing, your autonomic nervous system. The last thing I'll say about it is it's got a kind of a fail-safe, right? It's got like a shut everything down, like we're done kind of aspect to it. So like it's called shock. If I'll go through something overly, unbelievably traumatic, it just shuts everything down. You can't feel anything. Say you're about to get eaten by an animal, right? It shuts everything down so it doesn't hurt so bad, right? It has all these things that are automatic, right? It's already built in. That's really, really cool. So then, so Armor Down is a way to nurture this system. So if it's an intelligent system, it has automatic processes already built into it. It's more like it's its own being than it is, something that you create. So kind of like a child, right? So like if you've got a little brother or sister, or you've got a kid, you don't grow them. You nurture their growth, right? When you plant a seed in the garden, you don't grow it. You don't make it grow. You nurture its growth. The growth is automatic, but you nurture it, and how well you nurture it influences how well it grows. So your nervous system is the same way. If you nurture it by paying attention to it, taking care of it, learning about it, understanding it, spending time with it, then what's it going to do? It's going to grow into a healthy autonomic nervous system. What does a healthy autonomic nervous system do? It adapts smoothly to all of life's changes. Like that's what it does. It's literally designed to smoothly adapt to all of the changes that take place every day. So you playing sports revs things up, gets you going. You're relaxing, talking with your friends, settles you down, get you all warm and fuzzy with your buddies. in an argument, right? You want to really get going, fires you up. Watching sports fires you up, But when it comes to bedtime, knocks you out, lets you fall right to sleep. Does that automatically. It's automatically shifting gears based on how you're perceiving the outer world. Okay? Now, last piece, and then I'll go into training. Trauma can jack it up. Trauma can jack it up. It's like a hose that typically is water's just flowing back and forth. Trauma, boom, and all of a sudden there's a knot in the hose. And so the water kind of gets stuck, or it kind of has to take some weird angles, so it's no longer kind of smooth function. So when you experience trauma, and trauma can be something sudden, trauma can be something drawn out, trauma can be something that's happens to other people. So trauma is a very kind of complex thing that the nervous system has a hard time navigating. And so what can happen is the nervous system can kind of create dysregulation in adaptation to trauma. And that's really where post-traumatic stress disorder comes in. That's really where it becomes a disorder. Most people have post-traumatic stress responses, but when it kind of moves into a disorder, it's where the nervous system has kind of regenerated its capabilities in a way that kind of tries to navigate this trauma, but as in the process becomes dysregulated. And because it's dysregulated, you're operating with a autonomic nervous system that's kind of misfiring, and you're trying to adapt to its misfires, and you're creating patterns with a misfiring nervous system, and it gets really, really complex and tricky. And complex PTSD is where you've not only got this nervous system that's kind of jacked up, you've built a whole bunch of patterns on top of it, and now you got to untangle all that stuff. And then all kinds of other things have been built on top of that. So, in order to keep out of that complex stuff, right? It makes me think of like why you don't lie, right? The reason why you don't lie is because if you build a life on lies, it's really hard to untangle that life to get back to a place that's kind of natural and flowy, right? You have to keep all these lies going. It gets really, really hard. So that's why integrity is so nice. You don't lie, so everything's kind of what it is. It is what it is, right? It's not this complex thing. Same thing with the nervous system. If it's dysregulated, if it's kind of jacked up, if it's misfiring, if it's firing you up when you should be settling down, when you're settling down, when you should be firing up, you got to compensate for that. Because it's not you. Your nervous system isn't who you are. It's something you have to work with. So when you nurture your nervous system, you're staying with it. You're staying on top of it. You're staying connected to it. It's like with your children. You're staying connected to them. How are you doing? What's going on? I'm here. I'm interacting with you. I'm paying attention to you. I'm watching that ass. It's like that's what it means to nurture something. And so what happens as you start to nurture your nervous system is you start to recognize its patterns and its behaviors and its likes and its dislikes. And so when it becomes dysregulated, like, oh, wow, that's clearly a hit. I've got to make sure I'm on top of this. And maybe it's something that's a quick fix. Maybe it's like, okay, I got this. But maybe it's something you need to develop a team around. Maybe it's something you got to go get help with. But at least you're on top of it. So finish up here. Armor down is a way to nurture your nervous system. And so we go through the bells. We break things down. We have a clear awareness of how the spiritual realm is kind of evolving. We have awareness of how the mental realm is evolving. We have awareness of how the body's evolving. What keeps those mind, body, spirit together? That's your nervous system, right? So you're aware of that. You're practicing a way to nurture your nervous system. So when things show up, you're on top of it. So that's how you nurture your nervous system. So let's nurture our nervous systems together. That was not smooth at all. Go ahead and follow your cues to comfort. And let's practice. bird to the front left. Another bird high to the right. Lots of birds far off in the distance. Coming in closer, the sound of the refrigerator to my right. Silence behind me, silence in the corners. Sound of the flagpole. Shifting to smell. Nothing. Just feel the air moving into my nostrils. Feel it right at the tip of the nose. Taste in the mouth. Nothing. Touch. Feel the wood of the striker for the bell, my thumb. You feel the coolness of my forearms. Feel my left foot cooler than my right foot. I felt a little bit of indigestion, a little bit of a burp. That again. Bell 2. Feel what's beneath me. Feel my feet, ankles crossed, cushion under my feet. Feel my toes against the cushion beneath my feet. Move up to my rear end. Feels a little bit harder than I want. Moving a little bit, making some adjustments. That's a good balance right there. Finding middle, kind of a middle balance there. It's comfortable. Move into the pelvis. Shift a little bit, find some more comfort. Sending tailbone back. Opening front of the pelvis. Moving up into core. Core muscles already relaxed. Notice fabric of clothing. Move up to heart space. Open hands or separate hands. Notice shoulder blades. Notice broad across collarbones. Weight in elbows. Stomach clenched, relaxed stomach. Throat, jaw. Gather spit in mouth. Swallow, notice a little bit of constriction in throat, clear throat. Look for air in throat. Noticing popping in the back, spine, back body, whole spine, a little bit of movement through the shoulder blades, a little bit of crunching in the shoulders, fabric on shoulders. Top of the head, top of the spine. Feel some discomfort in the pelvis, reaching pelvis back, putting more weight in the knees. Top of the head, top of the spine. Dropping chin, feeling some tension back of the neck. Going to face, move forehead muscles, move eyebrows, squinting eyes, cheeks, nose, mouth, chin, stillness, soften. Soften forehead, soften behind eyes, soften nose, soften mouth. Throw a little smile on there. Noticing location of breath. It's deep today. It's more centered today. Feels kind of 2 inches above my belly button, deep toward my spine. Feels like it has no direction. It feels like it just emerges and disappears. Maybe there's an up-down element. Kind of ascends and rescinds, ascends and rescinds. I feel almost no movement of my body. It feels very, well, a little bit left. It feels really quiet, very still. I don't want to do anything with it. I feel really grateful for my own body. I feel really grateful for my breath feeling so quiet, and it's like it's this little orb of light in the center of this vast expanse that has all the space in the world. And it feels like this little spark that's perfectly self-contained with infinite options and total spaciousness. I'm kind of in awe of it at the moment, just watching it. I'm gonna make it big. Total freedom there. Now I'm going to shift and offer this spaciousness to someone I know who's struggling. So there's a person whose image I have in my mind. I see her in my mind. And I'm imagining this little spark that's inside of me kind of shooting out these little like suns. It looks like a little sun. Shooting them out like a machine gun. And they're just shooting out, and they're traveling at the speed of light, a big arcing pattern, all the way to where I know this person lives. And I'm imagining that they're going straight into her heart. And we'll finish with 2 breaths. And be done. Thank you for sharing that with me. That was great. Hope you have a great rest of your day, and I hope to see you on social media, and at the very least, I will see you tomorrow.